Welcome to Canine Revolution Radio. Presented by Canine Revolution Dog Training, enhancing the dog and owner relationship through education, balance, and pack instinct.
All right, and we are back. Another episode, Canine Revolution Radio. We got some questions we're going over today, dog training questions. So, Ben, what do we got?
Hey, guys, it's me, Chad, here with another episode.
If no one was watching YouTube, they probably wouldn't know. They probably wouldn't know the difference between me or you.
We should have started it off me going.
All right, let's start it again. Go ahead.
Hey, everyone, welcome to Canine Revolution Radio. My name is Chad.
You're trying to go too deep. You got to be louder.
Gotta be louder. Hey, guys, welcome to Canine Revolution Radio. This is Chad. I got chickens. I got dogs.
True.
I got cats.
True.
Soon, I will have
Peacocks. I got kids, too. So
I got kids.
Yeah. So.
Not me. Well, I am Chad, so yes.
All right, let's jump into some dog training Q&A here. What do you got? What's the first question?
First question. Someone is dealing with a dog snarling over their bone. What do you think this could be? I think I got something for you.
You got something for me?
I got something for you.
Your production, you got something for me?
I got something. I pay attention.
All right, what do you got?
When I'm behind the camera, I'm paying attention.
What do you got?
Resource guarding. Ever heard of it?
I've heard of it, yep, a couple times.
It sounds like this might be that.
All right.
A little bit of resource guarding.
What do we do in this situation scenario?
Well, you need to set boundaries. You need to communicate to your dog that you are letting your dog have a reward that is yours, technically speaking. Like the toy is yours technically.
Mm-hmm.
And you're allowing your dog to chew on it.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, if they get possessive over it, you got to set some boundaries.
I know.
I really only know how to do it with food. When it comes to bones and stuff.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Well, if we got let's say we have zero training. Someone who has zero training on their dog's possessing or snarling at them over a bone. Obviously, we need to implement some training, some resource work. So what we're going to be doing at first is communicating to that dog that you control all resources as the owner. So what I recommend is hand feeding. Feed them all their food out of your hand. That way they start to directly correlate you with the vital resources they need, such as food. And then as time goes on, once that is accomplished, obviously there's going to be quite a detailed progression. We're going to progress from starting point where we start feeding them with food to later point, and that later point is we're teaching them obedience. We've taught them how to let go of things when requested, right? And then fast forward, we're in this scenario after we've accomplished all that. We've gone through our progression. The dog has the bone. We're ready for them to be done with it. We simply give them our word that is to release it. That could be the word out, right? So we tell them to release it. They release it. Good to go. We follow our protocol at that point. Move forward. You know what I'm saying? So if you have no training on your dog and you're in this scenario, basically you want to start implementing some training. You want to do some hand feeding, feed out of your hand so you directly correlate vital resources to you from your dog's perspective. Obviously, there's some other management things that need to be taking place, like using a kennel, keeping a leash on your dog anytime they're outside the kennel so you can control where they're going. Then you progress into working on obedience commands. Then you progress into holding them accountable if they're disobeying you. You keep progressing along these lines. And then you get to the point where you teach them how to let go of things, right, if you ask them to. And then you're back in this scenario. You give them a bone. Most likely, number one, they're not going to snarl at you because you've gone through all this relationship building, this training, this development. But let's say they do snarl at you, just say, out. You have your protocol. If they don't out it, you say no. You apply a correction. You can redirect them into one of your other obedience commands. Go from there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's say you've got training. Like, let's say you went through our advanced training program, which means your dog's 100% off-leash trained. You're through your transition period. Your dog is at your house. You give your dog a bone. You walk by the dog or you walk up to the dog. They snarl at you. First thing you're going to do, say no, implement a correction, right?
Yep.
And then I would immediately send them to Spot. So I would say whatever that dog's name is, let's just say it's Bob. Bob, Spot.
Yeah.
You know, now it's Bob's job to drop what he's doing, drop that bone, and walk over to his pet cot, lay down, stay there till you tell him otherwise. So you're redirecting him out of the scenario, sending him away from you, away from his item, and he's got to lay down over there. Then you can pick up the item, control it. At that point, you kind of want to backtrack a little bit. Why did this happen? You need to go back and make sure we're implementing all protocols that are provided. You know what I'm saying? And then let's say, for example, another situation, another thing that you could do is, let's say in this scenario, dog snarling over a bone, you say no, correction, then you say Bob, Spot, and this time Bob takes the bone to his spot. He didn't let go of it.
He wants that bone.
Yeah, so he takes it to his spot. Now you don't want to run over there and like grab it from him. You don't want to escalate the situation. You want to de-escalate it.
Yeah.
So in this case, I would just say, Bob, come. Obviously, at that point, Bob's job is to come over to you. He'll probably bring his bone with him, right? Let's say he brought his bone with him. So he brings his bone to you. At that point, you say, Bob, out, right? If he did not out, no, correction. Once he outs it, good, Bob, Spot. Right? Then you send him to the spot after he's out of the bone. But let's say he leaves the bone on the spot, then he comes to you whenever you tell him to. So in that case, you just say, good, Bob down, Bob stay, have him do a down stay right there, walk over to the spot, get the bone, good to go. You know what I'm saying? So you keep the scenario as de-escalated as possible, and then you, manipulate the environment as you need to, apply management techniques, and then good to go, right?
Bob, check yourself.
Bob, check yourself. And for those of you watching, I got to hold up this tripod because Ben forgot a piece of equipment today. So his one job, he forgot his piece of equipment.
I forgot the arms for the microphones. Chad's not happy about it. It is what it is. I'll be dealing with it later, boys. Don't worry. All right, so moving on from Bob and the bone, we're talking puppies. And I've had my fair share. I've shared my experiences on on the past couple episodes before.
You had a good time with your puppies.
So these people are trying to raise their puppy, and they want to get ahead of the curve, and they want to teach their puppy not to pull on the leash initially. They want to go ahead and ingrain that into their puppy's brain.
So a couple things about puppies. Number one, they're young, they're a blank slate, so we want to make sure that we teach them from the ground up. When we're training an older dog not to pull on a leash, we're working against a lot of old developed habits. So in this situation, obviously we're not working against old habits. We've got a blank slate. We've got no habits. We're building the habits up. Yeah. So my preference with puppies, if we're being straight up, my preference with puppies, the day you get them, put them on a harness, an adjustable harness that clips behind their shoulders. You put their front legs through it. You clip the leash to that. The reason for that is it's okay for a puppy to pull into a harness. It's okay for a puppy to pull into a harness because later on, if you want to do any type of specialty training or higher level training, we're going to use a harness to build up some frustrations. We're going to use a harness, have the dog pull into the harness to build up drive. So it's okay for a young dog to learn that it's all right to pull into a harness. You know what I'm saying? We don't want our puppy to think it's okay to pull on a leash around their neck. And the reason for that is anything on the neck, leash, slip lead, training collar, whatever, we want that from the time we start using it, opposition reflex in relation to the neck to be 100% desensitized. We want zero opposition reflex to the neck. And what opposition reflex is,
oh, you beat me too. I was going to ask you.
Yeah, the opposition reflex is just the dog's natural instinct to pull against a force, right? So like if we put a leash on a dog's neck, that leash is already putting a little bit of tension on the dog's neck, so the dog is immediately instinctually going to pull against that. So that's how we get a leash puller. With the harness, we put the harness on, there's tension, the dog pulls into it, no big deal, because we're going to use the harness later in training. Right? Now, I don't want my older dog pulling into a harness, pulling me around. We're talking about young puppies where we're taking our time building up behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to move the puppy from point A to point B, move them from one place to the other place to ensure their safety, throw a harness on them, clip the leash to the harness. They can pull into the harness. It's okay, you know. But if you're moving from point A to point B, let's say you're moving from your car to your front door and your puppy's kind of pulling here, pulling there, then they turn around, come check in with you. You're obviously want to take advantage of that. So you're going to say, good, give them a food reward for that.
Mm-hmm.
And you are going to, I do recommend that if you have a puppy, you got a bait bag, you got a pocket full of food rewards that the puppy can eat very quickly, so you can manipulate, build up behaviors as they're coming. But let's say you're moving from your car to your front door, and you know, your puppy pulling here, pulling there, sniffing stuff, whatever. You're just walking to the door. It's a puppy again, so it's not pulling that hard. They turn around, they check in with you. Good, reward. You keep moving, you're good to go, right? So that's just a good scenario. But now when it comes to time to actually teach the puppy not to pull on a leash, I'll start with a slip lead. You know, I'll probably leave the harness with the leash that's on the harness on. And usually with the harnesses, I'll cut the ends off the leash, so it's like just no loop on the end of the leash. It's just a
straight line.
Straight line.
Yep.
That won't get tangled on anything. So the puppy can be dragging that around. I'll put a slip lead on the puppy's neck, and you know, I'll gently start to desensitize opposition reflex by pulling the slip lead one direction, so like right in front of the puppy. The puppy will probably be resisting that. Once they give in to the pressure, just for a split second, I say yes, you know, play with them, let them have a food reward, good to go. So I'm building up that puppy's understanding that if you feel pressure on the leash, you give into it. So I do that repetitiously. Once that is desensitized, then I start walking in a straight line. I'll have some food in my left hand. I'll guide my puppy to my left side. As long as they're on my left side, I'll say yes or good. Give them some food rewards down my left leg. If they just walk off from me, I simply turn to the right and I just keep walking. They'll start moving with me because I've done that opposition reflex. As soon as they catch up to me and are on my left side, I say good, give them a food reward, and then I progress from there, you know?
Yep.
So the progression from there, real quick and easy, looks like, you know, we do this repetitiously. We build this up until the puppy just wants to be on our left side because that's where the reinforcement history is at. Mm-hmm. And then we'll start to put an actual command on top of that. So we say heel, you know, so we're walking, puppy heel. We're walking, puppy's on our left side, good to go. Now, if the puppy goes away from that position, starts walking ahead of us or off to the side, no. Little tug release on the leash. Puppy comes right back to where they're supposed to be. Good to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And this is something that's taking place over multiple days, multiple weeks. You want to take your time with it. Don't rush it.
Don't rush it. You got a young puppy. You take your time. You build up good behavior.
Yeah.
And then once you're done with that, then you're going to generalize it, which basically means you're just going to go to different locations, different places, and make sure that behavior is still solid in those different locations. Right. You know what I'm saying? So good to go.
All right. So next one, we got this lady's asking, how can I make sure my dog protects me? I'm a woman. Can't be too careful in today's world.
You can't be too careful in today's world.
Sounds like you might need a flock of chickens outside. Or guineas.
Yeah, you need some guineas. Guinea
to
hens.
Alert you.
They will alert you. They just went off out there. How can I make sure my dog protects me? Well, first of all, you need a dog that's suitable to protect you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Not just any dog is going to protect you.
That in itself could be hard to determine.
It's going to be hard to determine. You got to look at the different drives. You got to look at the prey drive, the defense drive, all those types of things. A lot of people, they'll adopt a dog, and then they want to, you know, make sure that it protects them. Mm-hmm. And the dog shows some insecurities, some nervousness when they're actually in a situation. Yeah. You know, and so that kind of dog, you know, not built for protective work. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you need to pick out a dog that is confident, that's capable, that's willing to execute the behaviors needed for protection. With that being said, you need to be really careful because this kind of dog is going to be somewhat of a liability. You know, you can't just have this dog, take it out to your neighborhood. You feel scared for whatever reason. You let it bite somebody.
Yeah.
Now this person sues you. Now you got a situation on your hands.
Yeah.
You got to be able to handle this dog. You got to be able to train it properly, so on and so forth. You know, but there are a lot of insecure dogs, nervous dogs that will bark at people that are coming to your front door, that act like they're going to do something.
Yep.
And then whenever it comes down to that actual moment, they run away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but the good thing is with this type of dog, you know, most people, they want people to know that they have a dog in their house. So if you're a lady, maybe you're living by yourself, you've got this dog with you, maybe it's not suitable for legit protective style work, but it barks when people come to your door, that's good to go.
Yeah.
That's a deterrent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That will deter a lot of people from trying to break in or identifying you as a target.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if you get your dog trained and they see you walking around, let's say you live in an apartment complex, they see you walking around from your car to your front door, taking it out potty, and they see that this dog listens to commands. When you give commands, that in and of itself, again, is a deterrent.
Right.
You know, because,
know you're serious.
shoot, this person's serious, you know.
This chick ain't playing around.
Exactly. So that's my 2 cents on that. But also, you know, if you're really looking to protect yourself, I would highly consider learning how to defend yourself. And that's with, you know, martial arts, jiu-jitsu, and then also your CWP, concealed weapons permit. Can you handle a handgun?
Yeah.
Can you handle a pistol?
Yeah.
Can you manipulate it properly?
Right.
Can you conceal it properly? If push comes to shove and you're in legit danger, you know, even a protection dog is not designed to be lethal force of measure, you know, and people on drugs, they could be hopped up on some drugs. They bust into your house, your protection dogs lighten them up. They feel nothing because they're on these drugs. They're coming after you. You know, you need that lethal use of force. And that would be where concealed weapons permit, you know, pistol handling comes in, defensive tactics comes in. So I would recommend, you know, looking into that stuff, being able to defend yourself. A protection dog or a dog is just one layer of your your defensive strategy for yourself, for your home. There's multiple layers you should be aware of and looking into. You know what I'm saying? So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, you can hit us up. We got some contacts for that. You know, but if you're interested in the protection dog stuff too, you hit us up. We got some contacts for that. Or if you need your dog trained, you know, to be a good deterrent that you can control, you know, we can help you out with that as well. But just keep in mind, you're right. You need to be careful in today's world, but especially if you're, you know, a single lady, you know, maybe living by yourself in an apartment or a home, you need to be ready to defend yourself. You need to have a plan to defend yourself. A dog is one layer to your overall plan. You gotta think about other things as well. So
multi-layered, like an onion.
Peel away the onion layers. That's right. Good work, Bunny. But if you do want to deep dive into that, hit us up. Okay. All right. What we got next?
All right. So why does my 3-year-old dog pee in my apartment? I'll take her outside to be out there for 30 minutes, and as soon as we get back inside, she'll pee.
3-year-old dog peeing in the apartment. So it could be a couple things going on here. First of all, it could be anxiety related, you know, because you live in an apartment complex. There's probably a lot of smells, a lot of other dogs. There's probably specific dog potty areas. Everybody's going to them. Everybody's letting their dogs pee there. You know what I'm saying?
Sensory overload.
Poop there, sensory overload.
Yep.
So the dog gets a little bit anxious, right? You go out there, they can't find a spot. You may sit out there. They said for 30 minutes they're out there. Yeah. So you may sit out there for 30 minutes. Your dog legit can't find a spot because dogs, especially a dog probably like this one that's anxious, maybe a little bit insecure. They don't like all the different smells from different dogs and stuff like that.
Yep.
So in that situation, they're going out there. You're trying to let them go to the potty. They legit in their brain can't find a place to go potty that's comfortable to them. So you bring them back into your apartment. Boom, they go potty. Because that's where they're comfortable at. It's got all the comforting smells. Yeah. It's where they got, you know, it's where they sleep at, all that kind of stuff. So it's more comfortable to that dog that's anxious than going out to the potty area where there's a bunch of dogs where they can't focus on anything. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, obviously you want to implement some structure to teach the dog to pee outside, you know?
Yeah.
So what I would do is highly regulate, highly manage what my dog's doing inside so I can build up the behavior of pottying outside where I want them to go potty. So what that looks like is maybe using a kennel in your house. The dog goes in the kennel when you're in the house, or if you have training, you can have them on a spot or a place. But basically your dog's not allowed to free roam. Your dog has to stay in kennel or in spot/place unless you take them outside. And they have to do that until they're consistently peeing or pooping outside to build the behavior of doing that only outside. You know what I'm saying? And then you also can look into your schedule as far as when you're feeding them, when you're giving them water. Within 30 minutes of that food and water, you take them out. You don't go longer than that. You know what I'm saying? You're highly regulatory of the food and water until that habit starts to solidify outside.
Right, so no free water.
No free water necessarily, but if you do have, I mean, they're going to be in the kennel or spot, so you're gonna straight up give it to them. But as soon as you give it to them, then you're going to straight up take them out shortly thereafter. You know what I'm saying? And then other thing is, lost my train of thought for a second. So you got the structure in the house, put them in the kennel, put them in the spot. Then you got the schedule, regulating your schedule, making sure whenever you give food and water, you let them out. And then the other thing is exercise. So especially before you go to bed, take them on a nice long walk, you know, or after meals, take them on a nice long walk, get them to pump the system. Once the system starts getting pumped, the system being their body, you know, once the system starts getting pumped, the body starts getting moved around a little bit. Then they might have to go potty. Then they might be more amped to actually execute going potty outside the apartment. You know what I'm saying? So
the exercise thing definitely helps. The walks, it'll push that pee or poop out.
Definitely a game changer. So you definitely gotta implement that in that type of situation. You know. So I think that's good to go for that. In this scenario, most likely it's anxiety related. You know, but dogs do like to go potty where they're most comfortable. I mean, dominant dogs will just pee on other dogs' urine, so that kind of dog is different. But this scenario sounds like an anxious or an insecure situation.
Okay.
So,
all right. So moving on, can you offer any traveling with your dog? You know, long road trips, staying in hotels. If you decide to go camping, or if you stay with another family. Like a family member or a friend in maybe a different state in your travels or internationally, if that's how you roll. So how would you approach that?
Let's see. I've done this with my dogs, moved across the country multiple times when I was in the military. So what I've done, let's break it down here.
Let's start with long road trips and hotels. So we can start with that.
So let's say you're driving, what would you consider a long trip? 8 hours, 14 hours.
6 is long enough for me.
I mean, for me, 3 is already. Let's just say it's an 8-hour road trip. You know what I'm saying? What I personally would like to do before, you know, and I have kids. So let's just say you don't have kids. It's just you and your dogs, right? So even with kids, the same thing happens. But basically, I get up early. Got to get up a little bit earlier sometimes, huh?
Who are you talking to here?
I'm talking to the listener that's asking this question.
Hey, listeners out there, you don't have to get up at 4:30 like Chad does in the morning.
4:30 is a sleeping.
Holy.
We're talking about 3:30. Please get up a little bit earlier. So
that's psychotic.
What I do, you know, if I got to take a long road trip with some hotel stays, get up early. You know, adjust my personal morning routine a little bit. If you get up early, you need some coffee. We happen to know some people. One Nation Coffee.
Yes, sir.
We're drinking their 912 blend a day, as you can see on the video.
It's a good mix.
It's a good mix. Get you amped up, gets you going.
Blend.
It's a good blend. Yep. So get your coffee going if you need to. You get up, provide your dog with what they need. What do they need? Mental and physical. Mental and physical. Mental and physical exercise, right? So you get up, you do some training, you do some exercise, which means you're walking, you're biking.
In this scenario, depending on where you're staying at, you might not have the option.
This is before you even leave your house.
Oh, Oh, we haven't even left the
We
trip.
haven't even left.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we're
There
about
you
to go
go.
on the trip. We haven't gone on the trip yet.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so we're about to. We haven't left the house yet.
All right.
We got
All
up
right.
early,
Yep.
executing
Yep.
the game plan.
Physical stimulation.
Mental, physical, exercise, stimulation, walking, biking, fetch,
Yeah.
training.
Yeah.
Maybe you're sprinting in your yard and your dogs are sprinting with you. Good to go,
All
right?
right.
So you execute that. You feed them, right?
Yep.
Good to go. So they're ready. They're nice and balanced out energy. You get your stuff, you together. You load up your vehicle. If you have kids, you grab your kids. You throw them in the vehicle.
Yep.
You roll out. Now everybody's in the vehicle, right?
You've got your wife.
Don't forget your spouse.
Yeah, your husband. Yeah. That's all right.
Don't forget your husband or your wife or whatever you got. So anyway, you grab the family, you grab all the dogs, you throw them in the car, right? You start rolling out.
Yep.
My rule of thumb is I kind of stop every 2 or 3 hours. So every 2 or 3 hours, I'll make a pit stop.
Yeah.
Stop at a rest area. You know, once I stop at the rest area, take care of the humans first. So if you got a spouse, you got to take care of them. You got kids, you got to take care of them.
Yep.
Take care of the humans first. Once the humans are taken care of, then you let the dogs out, let them go potty, do some training.
Yep.
Stretch your legs, do a little bit of walking in the rest area. Just kind of get some blood flowing, get some energy going, get some water going, all that kind of stuff. Then you hop back in the car, roll out again. So you basically repeat that for your trip. Let's say it's a day-long trip.
Yeah.
That evening, you arrive at your hotel. Once again, you get your kids, your family situated in the hotel, get all your stuff in there, get the check-in, get everything in there. Whenever you're ready to get the dogs rolling, you get the dogs out the car.
They might be amped up.
They might be amped up. They're probably going to be amped up. So you let them potty. What I've done a couple times is I walk laps around the hotel.
Yeah.
I've stayed at a hotel literally with no walking routes. It's just a hotel. I'm literally walking circles around the hotel.
Might seem silly, but necessary.
It's pretty boring
Yeah.
to some people. To some people.
Yeah.
But me, I'm just like,
If you can just
going with it.
mentally check out,
Yeah. Yeah.
of any situation, this is probably,
Yeah.
I
So-
mean, you want to watch your dog,
Oh, yeah.
but I mean,
So I'm also got the dog in heel position. So I'm like healing around the hotel, healing around. Maybe I'll do a downstay to a recall. Good to go. Basically getting some energy balanced out. Whenever I'm done with that, go in the hotel. Good to go.
yeah.
No issues, So that's kind of what I do for a long hotel stay, long road trip. Now I've been on those cross country trips where, you're trying to get from the West Coast to the East Coast or from the East Coast to the West Coast. Basically, I follow that same protocol, throughout the day, throughout the trip. I take stops every 2 to 3 hours, stretch the legs, do some training, go potty, get some water, back on the road. Do that all day. Once I get to the hotel, check in, get my stuff in there, walk my laps around the hotel, get into the hotel, go to bed, wake up the next morning, walk laps around the hotel, put the dogs in the truck, get all the stuff in the truck. All right, roll out.
Yeah.
So I just repeat that
Right.
every day, depending on, how many days it is, all that kind of stuff. So the main thing is just make sure you're providing that mental, physical exercise, mental, physical stimulation, which is a little bit challenging sometimes because you're in that mindset
Yeah.
where you're
sure.
wanting to beat the GPS.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, as fast as you possibly can.
GPS
Oh, it tells us we're going to be there at 12 p.m. We could probably make it 11 o'clock. We're going to have to do 90 on the interstate, but it's all right.
Don't fall into that trap. Don't fall. It doesn't matter. You just roll out. You're good to go.
Well, piggybacking off of that, then let's talk about if you're staying instead of a hotel. What if you're staying at a different family member's home or a close friend who is doing your trip with you, or you're in the same state as them or whatever, and you got your dogs with you,
So I'm going to a family's house or a friend's house.
Yeah, either or.
Good to go.
Right,
Even
so,
better.
yeah.
Even better because they
'Cause,
probably have a neighborhood I can walk in.
A little more entertaining.
Or they might have a yard I can play fetch in. Now I can play fetch with my dogs anywhere, because I've done it to that level.
Right.
But if you're not comfortable playing fetch with your dogs, because fetch would be a great way. Because think about it, at the end of a long road trip, you're kind of mentally wiped.
Yeah.
You can just throw the ball for a couple minutes. Your dog will kind of get balanced out really quick. You're good to go. But if I'm staying at a friend's house or family's house, good.
Yeah.
Good, because they probably live in a neighborhood. I can walk that neighborhood. I can walk longer, more entertaining than walking circles around a hotel. Mm-hmm. They probably have a yard I can let the dog chill out in, relax in, that kind of stuff. So
probably got better beds too.
Probably got better beds, but I'd rather sleep on the floor anyway. So But camping, for example, let's say you take your dog camping. I bring my spot with me, good to go. So if I'm doing stuff around the campsite, dog's on the spot. Obviously, camping, probably going to be doing some hiking.
Yeah.
Good. Bring the dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Go hiking.
Oh, they'll be done for the day.
Yeah, they'll be done for the day.
Depending on the dog, I guess.
Especially Slug. But,
yeah.
But take them hiking with you, get them out, get them doing different stuff. The good thing about training, because we are Canine Revolution dog training. The good thing about training is you literally flex it to whatever you're doing. So if I'm camping and I stop at the little country store at the campsite that's got the ice cream in there, I can put my dog sandwiches literally in a downstay. Go into the store. I can put him in a downstay outside the store. I go into the store. I get my ice cream
sandwiches,
the Oreo ice cream cookies.
We know what you like.
Really good. Anyway, you get your ice cream. Good to go. Bring it outside. Eat it while your dogs are doing their downstay. All right, heel. Start walking again. Literally, the thing with training is you literally flex it to anything you're doing, any scenario, any environment. No factor, no problem. You know what I'm saying? But some people, they probably think they can't do that, but that's what it's for.
It also pays off if you do your training at your house, day in, day out. And you transfer that to when you do these trips.
Oh, yeah.
The training's going to pay off big time.
That's why it's important to practice it every day.
Absolutely.
If your dog's not trained and you're trying to do all this stuff, well, probably get your dog trained before you go on these trips. That way you got that management factor.
Absolutely.
Good to go.
So this actually piggybacking, someone else had a question piggybacking off of this one. So they want to know specifically how to get a dog comfortable using an elevator in a hotel, but I guess this could apply anywhere.
Elevator, escalator.
Oh, escalator, taking it up a notch.
Isn't the escalator the stairs that move?
Auto stairs.
Yeah, so we'll talk about both those because I've been there, done it,
All right, let's talk about it.
The other thing you got to think about, slick floors. Because we took Bane to Las Vegas one time. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
All right.
But
you went shopping.
Went to Margaritaville. Good to go.
Yeah.
But so we took Bane to Vegas, and they got slick floors because we stayed in the casino, the Flamingo or whatever. But they got slick floors. They got elevators. They got drunk people. They got people on other substances. They see a Doberman, they're like, they're running away.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, it's basically just socialization. So if your dog's never been on an elevator before, have your food rewards with you.
Yeah.
You get to the elevator, start rewarding your dog for eye contact, have them do a sit stay, start rewarding them so they can build up a good association. Once that thing starts moving, it might freak out a dog. Put them in it. Yeah.
Depending on how good the elevator is. Hopefully it's not an old one.
Put them in a sit stay.
Yeah.
Have them sit right there. Put them in a downstay. They might be freaking out. Put them in a downstay. They'll start to calm down. They just got to ride it out. You know what I'm saying? But if you can, build a positive association by using food rewards.
Yeah.
But let's say you go into the elevator. Your dog is kind of walking around freely. The elevator starts moving, your dog's getting freaked out, put them in a sit stay.
Yeah.
Easy day. Have them sit there the whole time.
Yeah.
Once the elevator stops, heel.
Yeah.
And you just walk out.
Yep.
No factor.
Yep.
Do that food rewards if you can to build up good reinforcement history.
You could use the elevator if you're doing these long road trips. You could use the elevator as mental stimulation.
You could use it as just up, down, up, down, up, down. Good to go.
I mean, the hotel staff might be trying to figure out what the hell you're doing. But.
I mean, I have done this before where I go into the stairwell of the hotel. I just walk up and down the stairs for 30 minutes.
A little stair action.
That will smoke you too.
Stairmaster.
You'll be smoked.
Yeah.
But let's talk about escalator. Same thing. I need to get on the escalator. Dog heel. I start walking towards the escalator. Dog might start getting free. The hard part about the escalator is getting on and off of it because you go from a solid surface to a surface that's moving all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So
and very fast.
Yeah. And so use food rewards if you can. Have your dog just be with you, hanging out, comfortable. Once I get on the escalator, I'll just be chilling. If usually the dog will just stand there.
Yeah,
And good to go.
They're free.
Yeah, they're kind of like locked up, or they're just like chilling.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
If they're standing there, let me see if I can reward them with food. Build up good reinforcement history with that scenario. Good to go. So that's kind of what I go with.
Okay.
So escalator, elevator, slick floor, same thing. You take your dog to someplace with a slick floor. Now you could prepare your dog for this by going to like Lowe's, Home Depot. They do have some slick floors there sometimes.
Oh yeah.
But slick floor, sometimes the dog can't get traction, so they start to freak a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So try to get your dog somewhere with some slick floors to practice. But food rewards, to build up good reinforcement. Go slow, so your dog can kind of develop a little bit of traction. Understand that your dog, is trying to figure it out as you're going. So no need to overcorrect them or anything. Bear with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If they're struggling, take your time.
Yeah.
There's no rush. It's all about making that a positive experience, as good of an experience as possible. So take your time, go slow, encourage your dog, use food rewards to build up good reinforcement history. Press on.
Yeah.
Press on, brother.
And basically, if you haven't realized at this point, your bait bag just needs to be on your body at all times, even when you go to bed.
Yeah, but yeah. But you shouldn't be hooked on the food rewards, but they are good.
Yeah.
You do want them available if you're needing to provide that reinforcement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I will put a quick plug in here. I do have a young entrepreneur that provides some food rewards for me. He custom makes them to my specifications. So if you would like to get
your hot dog guy,
my hot dog guy. If you'd like to get hooked up with my food reward guy, hit me up. I can give you the contact.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
all right.
Press
little
on,
hot dog plug.
Press on, brother.
All right. So someone asks, how do you properly manage your dog in a public place when another dog approaches in an excited manner? Sounds like we might have a
with or without human control.
With or without human control. So it sounds like it could be maybe off-leash action. Off-leash dog. That's always an exciting scenario.
Oh yeah,
for everyone.
Oh yeah, I forgot where I saw this, but it was on Facebook. Someone had their dog out somewhere. There was a giant like mastiff that ripped the dog out of the owner's hands, ran over to the other people's dog who was scared of it. The mastiff was luckily friendly.
Yeah,
but their dog was freaking out. So
I had one of these happen to me the other day. German Shepherd. I'm walking in my neighborhood. German Shepherds in this.
Really?
These people had just moved in.
Oh,
to this
new to the neighborhood.
New to the neighborhood. I don't know their patterns yet, right? I don't even know if they got a dog, because I'm always scoping things out.
They don't know your patterns because everybody in your neighborhood knows your pattern. They're like, here comes Ben with his pitties.
Yeah, they ain't seen me walking my dogs before. And this dog's off leash in the yard. I don't see anyone in the front yard. I'm like, here we go. I already know this dog's coming over to me. I'm already prepping myself.
It's coming.
And the dog's staring at us. We're crossing the street.
He's getting amped.
He's staring at us like he's trying to decide if he's going to come over here
he's getting
or
amped
not. I'm like,
brain.
just don't do it. Don't do it. I'm saying in my head, don't do it.
He's getting
dog.
amped mentally.
He's watching us. We're actually starting to walk away from them because we took another road, another side street. That's part of our route. And he was watching us. So I was like, oh, he actually didn't come over here. All of a sudden, boom, here he comes. Starts running over to us. I'm like, here we go, Dog doesn't look like it's going to be much of an issue.
Yeah.
But super excited, like, in this question, So basically I just...
Where's the owners at? MIA?
Well, I ain't seen them yet. Yeah. The dog's over at me. Here comes the lady out of the garage. Oh! She's running over. Come here. And then by the time, like, when she gets to the dog, though, like, she doesn't grab her dog. She's like, like, she, like...
They don't know what to do.
I'm like, just grab your dog's collar. It's not hard. She's like, and I'm just standing there. I position myself between this dog and my dogs.
Yeah.
I got two dogs with me. I'm walking both my pit bulls.
Good heel position.
And, then they got a little amped up. A little razzle-dazzle action happened. A little tangled up in the leashes. And this lady's, and then here comes the big old Joe coming out of the garage. Hey, get the dog, come here.
He usually listens to me.
Yeah. Then the dog runs back and then almost double backs back to us. But then by that time, I was already taken off.
Did you give him a business card?
No. They were like, sorry. I was like, it's another day in the neighborhood, boys. I ain't seen the dog out there since, though.
So you're feeling what these people in this question are
No,
asking.
I feel it. Yeah, not the first time either. Trust me, not the first time.
Yeah. So that scenario, in Ben's case, his dogs aren't really going to react for the most part in a negative way. Some people out there, they have some dogs that are going to react, and they've had issues with dog aggression, stuff like that. So this is a really stressful situation for them.
Yeah.
So with that being said, how to manage your dog in a public place when another dog approaches in an excited manner. So let's say I have no training.
Yeah.
I need to get training.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Good to
Step
go.
one.
Now let's say we got training and we're in this situation.
Right.
Now we're in this situation. We've got training. Let's say I'm in your situation, your scenario. I've got two dogs with me, walking, good heel position, good to go. Right. I got this German Shepherd running at me. What I've done in the past, because I implement training throughout the day, every day, incorporated in all aspects of my life, I immediately tell my dogs, down, stay, boom. They hit the ground, they stay. If they get up, no, correction. Immediately, I'm on top of that. Boom. No questions about it. No hesitation. You know what I'm saying? Also, no warnings.
Yeah.
If you disobey, immediate accountability.
Right.
Boom. This is a no joke situation, right? Now I'm assessing this German Shepherd running at me. Like your assessment, probably not going to be a problem. Just a goofy guy, so good to go. But I still don't want him violating the boundary of my dogs. So I put my dogs in a downstay. I trust them to stay there because I've done so much downstay work. I drop my leashes. I depart from them straight for the German Shepherd. German Shepherd runs up to me, having a good time.
He's
So
loving it.
I might give him one of my food rewards to keep him with me, keep him interested in me.
Yeah.
And then I hook his collar, grab his collar with my hand, and then I just walk him over to his owners. I'm like, hey, your dog got off the leash. They're like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Whatever. End of story.
Yeah.
Go back to my dogs, heel, good to go. Usually in that situation, people be like, oh, your dogs are so good. I'm like, they're trained.
Yeah. Good on Revolution. Now, that is a perfect scenario, though. Let's say you try to give this dog your food rewards. It just is not interested in you. Tries to go around you.
Yeah, well, that's happened before. So let's talk, because I've been in a lot of these scenarios with training dogs, with my own dogs. So that's one way you could do it.
Right.
But you have to have proper trust in your dogs.
Yep.
You have to have good assessment of that dog coming at you, that he's just a goofy guy looking to have a good time. He literally has no rules in his life. He's just ruling his life. So it's like, okay, can't blame the dog. It's obviously the owner's fault. So not angry at this dog or anything. Let me just keep him with me so that he doesn't violate my dog's personal boundary. Grab his collar. Again, assuming he has a collar on, take him back to the owners. Owners are like, oh my God, whatever. Move forward.
Yeah.
Another scenario.
Could not be a friendly dog.
Could not be a friendly dog. So this has happened before. I was training a puppy, walking through a neighborhood. There's basically nobody outside in this neighborhood. It was middle of the day. Everybody's at work. This dog had somehow broken its fence down because people left it in the backyard when they go to work, which I do not recommend. Do not leave your dog in your yard when you go to work.
Yep.
So anyway, this dog had broken down the fence, legit busted a hole in the fence. It's running around like a
He
wild...
had been practicing.
Yeah.
He had been working on that fence. He was waiting for his day.
He's running around like a wild banshee.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He sees me and this puppy, and in my head, I'm like, oh, God, because I see this dog. This dog's amped. I'm like, this is not good to go. And your situation is like, hey, he's a goofy guy. This dog, I'm like, not good to go. This puppy, not off leash trained, downstayed, not solidified yet, which means the puppy's got to stay with me. I can't walk away from the puppy. So then the other main thing I'm thinking about, this puppy's owners entrusted me to properly train their dog and take care of their dog. If I let this puppy have a bad, experience with this loose dog, could be bad for the puppy, could impact it for a while, you know. So that's all going through my head. So roger that. Get my left grip on the leash. If you need some refresher on the grips, you can go to our YouTube video on the leash grips. But got my left grip on the leash. This dog's beelining for me. But it's not looking at me. It's looking right at this puppy. I can see it's snarling. It's running tail up.
It's ready to go.
It's ready to go dominate this puppy. I'm like, this ain't happening. So I got left grip on the leash. I slacked out the leash so that I could have the end of the leash in my right hand, and I start yelling at the dog, "Get back! Get back! No!" You know, no factor.
Yeah.
No factor. The dog's beelining. It's coming fast too. Get back! Get back! So the puppy's on my left side in heel position. So I turn my right side of the body to the dog, so that the puppy cants to my left side. The puppy's staying on my left side in good heel position. So now my whole body is between this dog and the puppy. When I do that, the dog looks up from the puppy as it's running. It looks at me. I'm like, "Get back!" So the dog freezes for a second. It stops. It freezes. It's freaking. It's like, "Oh shoot, not used to this." And so then the dog looks at the puppy. Boom, starts running for the puppy again, which is right next to me.
Yep.
So it gets, within a couple feet of me, I start swatting at it with the leash, the end of the leash, not trying to hurt it, but just trying to get it to go away. And it did keep coming. So I swatted it right in the nose, and the dog, didn't like that, backed up, kind of growled at me, and then it ran off. It ran back to its yard.
Yeah.
Jumped back in the fence. That's how I know where it came from,
Yeah.
I mean, the puppy just kept going. The puppy had a good situation. Puppy maintained position the entire time. Puppy, actually gained respect and trust for me because I handled the situation. And obviously that dog wasn't going to mess with us again. But I get it. Some people aren't comfortable necessarily doing that.
Yeah.
But
and it's happening real fast too.
It's happening really fast.
It doesn't happen as slow as the story sounds.
It's not slow. It's
split second.
It's seconds. And so in this situation, it's like, I get that some people aren't comfortable doing that, but from my perspective, you got to do whatever you got to do to ensure that your dog is building trust and respect for you. Even if someone's there, and I'll talk about a story here in a second where the owners were angry. That you did that to their dog. They're angry. And I'm like, yo, your dog's off leash. This is a leash law area.
Yeah.
My dog's on leash. I have to make sure my dog's good to go. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I get that some people don't want to take those measures, but I'm telling you, you got to do whatever you got to do to ensure the best for your dog in the situation. And you have to make a very quick assessment of the situation and then make a judgment call. What am I going to do? So in the first scenario, I put my dogs in a down state. I go take care of the other dog myself because I see he's a goofy guy. He's just hanging out. No problem. Second scenario, I got a puppy. I'm trying to build up this puppy. I'm trying to build up proper socialization. The owners have trusted me with this puppy, so I don't take that for granted. Then I got this dog not good to go running at me. So in that situation, I'm going to handle it a little bit different. All right.
You got to read the room.
Third scenario, same neighborhood as the last scenario.
Oh, you didn't learn your lesson.
Different training dog. This is my old neighborhood. Different training dog. Walking through the neighborhood. This dog had a little bit of dog reactivity when it started training, so there's there's that factor. So and this happened super fast. Dog comes around the corner of a house, maybe 20 feet away. So there's zero time to really think. It's like, oh, time to go. And this dog's actively running away from the owners. The owners are like, come here, Susie, or whatever the dog's name is.
They're waddling. Oh, come here.
Oh yeah, they're like, they're having a hard time. The dog's just looking for targets. And the dog's amped. And I'm like, not a good dog. This is gonna be a problem. The dog I had was maybe a week into training, so he knew how to heel, but not good to go on downstate, not good to go on distraction work. So my dog that I'm working with is starting to get amped too because it sees this other dog. So I'm like making sure this dog's maintaining heel position by applying correction every time the dog tries to deviate. And I got this other dog running at me. So this dog runs at me. The dog I have, is starting to react at the dog coming at me because obviously he's fresh into training. So I'm holding him in position with left grip, using corrections as needed. And this dog coming at me, I try to yell at him, get back, not working. So it eventually gets to the point where I have to use my foot to keep the dog away because I'm like, if these two dogs make contact, guarantee you they're going to be biting each other. And so then the old person, or the person that was trying to get the dog, freaking out. And eventually, using my foot, this dog gets the idea. It just kind of goes off, and but then it circles around behind me. So I had to turn my body to keep an eye on the dog.
Pivot.
You know, I had to pivot as I'm going, maintaining control of the training dog. Like, oh shit, you know, the whole time, and then using my foot to keep it away because I didn't have anything else. And then the owner's running around. Yeah, just the whole scenario. And then eventually the dog, you know, the owner's close, trying to grab the dog.
They do the freeze up. They're right there. They
don't know. They can't grab it. You know. And then I'm using my foot, so the dog's kind of like getting frustrated. The dog just pretty much walks off. Yeah, walks off. Bored, yeah. He's more interested in running away from the owner than he is trying to keep up with me.
He's playing a game.
Yeah. So I'm like, sorry, and I just keep going. You know, I just start walking off. So that's what I did in that scenario.
That just reminded me of this another scenario in my neighborhood with an off-leash dog. It was a little tiny Chihuahua.
Oh.
And off leash in the yard. I'm walking my girls, you know.
Yep.
Across the street. I'm almost home. I'm like a couple houses down from my house. This lady is doing some lawn work in the yard. Got her dog off leash, little Chihuahua.
Mm-hmm. Typical.
I see this Chihuahua immediately come straight towards us.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, holy cow, you know. And I can't get a read on the dog because I don't know if the dog has got an attitude or if he's just trying to check the scenario out.
Yeah.
So basically I do what you do, you know, the dog comes straight up to me. So I position myself in between, you know, the Chihuahua and my dogs. You know, I got my dog's left grip immediately. Dog tries to go around me. I'm just pivoting the whole time.
Yeah.
Just doing circles, basically, trying to keep this dog away. I'm sticking my leg out a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
The lady's coming across the street. I'm like, hey, come get your dog. I'm like, hurry up, because then now my dogs are getting amped up.
She's like, you got pit bulls?
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm like, come here, dog. And I was like, sooner would be better than later. Like, she had just peed me off, you know?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And so, and then eventually the dog walked away. I'm like, oh, my gosh, dude, you know.
Another scenario, I'm training this dog. This was back in California. Training this dog. Had hyper dog aggression, had killed a dog. Killed the dog. You know, legit ripped it open in the middle of the neighborhood. Just,
yikes.
You know, on impact. So definitely a lot of training going on.
Oh, yeah.
You know, retraining, re-socialization going on.
Yep.
So this was my first time taking the dog out for distraction work. And I'm in this park, you know. And there is a dog park on the far side of the park because I was trying to get, you know, distance from dogs, a safe distance, without getting too close. And you know how people are at dog parks; they go in and out with their dogs off leash. So this dude, you know, comes out, his dog's off leash, his dog beelines it for me. The dude's on his phone, not paying attention.
Oh, we're here to play.
Yeah, and I'm like, got this dog with me. It's a big dog. It's a big dog, and I'm like, not good.
Yeah,
you know. I'm like, if this dog kills this dog. The dog that I had, if he like, you know, not good, you know. And the dog was like at the foundational stage of training, so there's a lot of training to be done. So I wasn't putting him in a downstay, walking away from him thing, you know, like I talked about in scenario 1. I'm keeping him with me on the leash. So this dog, it's a nice dog. I felt bad for it, but had to do it, had to be done. Nice dog, little golden retriever, walks up to me. It's a sweet little dog, but I got this killer next to me, you know what I'm saying, that I'm training. And so the dog's coming up. It literally has no boundary. I'm like, get back, get back, get back. I'm trying to scare it away, you know.
Not working.
No impact. The dog's like, you know, wagging its tail. It's coming up.
He's
whatever.
loving it. He's like,
loving
all right,
it.
let's
he's
talk.
loving it. The dog next to me, he's like looking, but he's not like showing any, you know, reactivity or anything. So I was like, that's good. And dog got up pretty close, so I had to get to the point where I had the end of the leash again. And I just slapped it right in the nose, you know,
little pop.
And the dog's like, you know, runs off to the owner. And the dog I was with had zero reaction, so he was good. I felt good about that scenario, but I felt bad for the nice little dog walking up to me. But I'm like, you know, that dog could get hurt if it just bombards this other dog, then this other dog gets triggered. You know, so
what's better, a little pop on the nose or getting your throat ripped out?
Right, pop on the nose is better than any damage being done to anybody. You know. So anyway, pop the dog on the nose. You know. Dog runs back to the dude, gets pissed. And he's like a guy in like a tank top. He's like, you know,
he's a bro.
Yeah, he's a bro. He's got
he's a Chad.
he's in his tank top. He's got his muscles out. You know, he's a pretty boy. And what the hell?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, here we go. So he runs over to me. He runs over to me. You just slapped my dog? I'm like, yeah, I just slapped your dog. I was like, this dog has killed another dog. I'm training him.
Yeah.
I was like, your dog just walked up. You know, there is a leash law in the rest of the park.
Yeah.
You know, so I just did you a favor by keeping your dog away from the dog that I'm training that has a history of killing dogs. You're welcome.
Set the tone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this dude, he's angry. He just storms off.
Yeah.
He storms off.
He knew he's defeated.
He storms off, goes to his car, got a nice sport car.
Of course he does.
Puts his dog in the car. He can't handle it. He comes back.
Oh.
Yeah, because I'm.
Oh, he's like, I ain't letting this guy.
Yeah, because at that point, I put the dog in a downstay because I'm like, all right, I got to chill out because I was getting a little amped up myself. You know,
adrenaline's pumping.
I put the dog in a downstay. I'm holding on to the leash. You know, downstay eye contact drill. That's what I was doing. Guy comes back. I'm like, oh, here we go. And he comes back. He's got to say something else. I forgot what he said, but I was like, hey man, I'm sorry that I slapped your dog because you got a nice dog. You know, but this dog I'm training right here is I don't trust him yet.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't been through the scenarios, so I had to make a decision. And in that point in time, I was like, it's better for me to, slap this dog a little bit and not hurt him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus something even worse could happen. And I said, not every dog's friendly. You just got to keep that in mind. And he was just, he was pissed. He was pissed. He just stormed off. Cranked up his car, ripped out of there.
Check this dust. Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh. So that was that scenario. One more scenario I'll talk about. Had Bane back in the day when I just moved back to South Carolina from California. Had taught him the focused heel. And so I'm in a huge open field, There's nobody around. I'm like, this is perfect. I can do off leash stuff. No, I'm not affecting anybody because nobody's around, whatever. So I'm training. All of a sudden, out of the woods, 2 dogs come running out of the woods. And they were probably, this is a huge field. So the field probably 200, 300 yards on each side of where I was at to the woods.
So they're booking it.
They come out the woods, they're hauling ass at me. I'm like, oh shit, And and Bane was at a downstay, so I just start calling him to me. So he's running to me, which probably obviously triggered the dogs even more. They want to chase him. Call him into heel position. Boom, he whips himself into heel position. I say, look, he looks right at me. I'm like, good, and I just start walking in a straight line. And I look over at these dogs, and I can tell they're not an issue. They're just like coming to investigate. They're curious. Probably busted out of someone's yard or something. This was in Mount Pleasant. And so they run up to me. I'm like, I'm just going to heel. Yeah. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to try and thwart these dogs off or nothing. Making a judgment call. I'm healing. And if Bane deviates from heel position at all, no correction. Good to go. So I start healing. He's looking at me. These dogs come up. They're sniffing him all over, sniffing his butt, sniffing his body, sniffing his neck, sniffing his face. And if you know Bane, he's a dominant dog. He does not like that. Yeah. But our level of training at that point was so high, he was ignoring them and just looking at me. And the reason why I made that judgment call that was okay is because his relationship at that stage was really, really good. And then also I had assessed those dogs and knew they were not going to cause any trouble. Yeah. And I'm like, these dogs are just curious. So they come up, they sniff him all over. He's just looking at me. I can tell he's uncomfortable, but he's looking at me like he's supposed to be doing. I'm like, good. As I'm walking, these dogs get bored. They walk away. They disappear back in the woods. I'm like, good. Yes. And we start playing tug. So, because I had a tug in my pocket. So good to go. That's what I did in that scenario. So in every situation, every scenario you go in, you're going to have to assess the scenario
very quickly.
You're going to have to make a judgment call based on your relationship with your dog, your level of training with your dog, which you're always pushing to get better and better at, and then your assessment of what's going on, those other dogs, all those factors. Now, one more thing I'll talk about. Let's say you got another dog approaching you with human control. The dog's on leash and the human is letting the dog drag the human to you and your dog. In that case, I say they don't need to meet. Because they're like, oh, they're friendly. I'm like, they don't need to meet. Nope, we're training. We're training. Please stay away. Whatever I got to say to trigger that person to stop approaching me and to leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I do in that situation.
Well, sometimes you're like, hey, we're training, we're good. They're like, oh, okay. And they keep coming. Then you just got to go the opposite direction.
At that point, I might walk away from them with my dog. Might have my dog in a downstay and walk to them to kind of block them from coming any closer. It's gotten to the point where I've grabbed their leash and stop their dog from getting to my dog. And I said, hey,
Yeah.
they don't need to meet,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So again, assess the situation, make a judgment call based on what's going on.
Yep.
Good to go. All right, let's go to the next question.
I'll mix two questions in here together. So one person asks, how do I show my dog I'm the boss? This other person says, is punishing my dog a good thing? I feel like it makes him hate me.
Interesting. How do I show my dog the boss? In that scenario, it's not about you being the boss. I'm the boss. You better listen to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm the boss.
That's what you say to me, huh?
Well, that's different. You're not a dog, boys. Where's my damn podcast arms at, huh? But so in this case, it's not about showing your dog who's the boss. You do want to be a proper pack leader, So what I do, go through our training process, build up engagement, build up relationship, build up focus building, implement obedience, implement accountability, and then I can flex my training to every aspect of my life. And it's not about me being the boss. It's about having a balanced relationship with the dog, where the dog and you are, mutual trust, mutual respect. But if you say something, it's got to be done. And if it doesn't get done, you got to hold them accountable. And if they do get it done, then you're going to randomly reward them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So you're saying, the best way to do it, to show your dog you're the quote unquote boss, is to start working with them.
Yeah.
Start training with them.
Train them.
Then you'll form a bond.
Form the bond.
It's not really a boss subordinate, type of mindset.
It's about a bond, relationship, balanced relationship, having a good ass time together. You know what I'm saying?
So talking about what you just said, with the training procedures and everything like that, someone asked, how long does it take to train a dog?
How long does it take to train a dog?
I feel like that's just an open-end question.
I mean, yeah.
Because you can train for the duration of your life with your dog.
You could. You can always do more training.
Yeah.
You can always be doing more stuff, But let's just say that we want to train them for like basic or advanced level. Let's say advanced level. That's like our advanced training program. We do it in 4 to 8 weeks, depending on the dog, depending on the situation. We're very experienced. Our whole team is, we've got a very tight structure, schedule, management procedures that we follow, so we can get it done in 4 weeks for most people. You know what I'm saying? So, but for those people out there that don't have the experience, because whenever I'm working with a dog, subconsciously at this point, I notice something in the training that we're doing. And I'm like, all right, let me adjust what I'm doing to help this dog get better at it faster. Right. You know what I'm saying? Build up repetition. And also, this is what we're doing every day, all day. Yeah. So we're able to knock out the repetitions effectively,
That's the difference between doing it yourself.
Right.
And,
versus someone that's doing it.
Training.
Yeah. Doing it, someone, let's say they work a normal job. They have to train before work, after work, and sometimes they're tired. Yeah. Sometimes they want to go to the gym. They want to go to the bar. They want to go to the restaurant. So now training takes a lower priority. It's going to take that person a longer time. Yep. That's why, what we do the training for you. Then we just teach you how to maintain it at home. And then if you want to get more things done, specialized stuff, higher level things done, we'll do that with you after the initial basic advanced training is done, But what really pays off too is having experience, knowing exactly, you've worked with hundreds of dogs, so you have that experience. You're working with this dog's showing you a little something here, a little something there. They're struggling with a down, for example. Because of my experience, I know I can implement different techniques, different things to get the dog motivated to do it. Because the other thing is we want to maintain motivation. The dog needs to be having a good time while we're teaching them this stuff. Right. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, how long does it take to train a dog? You could be training your whole life. There's always more to do. Once you go through basic training, once you go through advanced training, time to do more stuff. Yeah. Challenge the brain, challenge yourself, But for us, getting the basics done 4 weeks, most people ain't going to be able to do it in that time frame just because the sheer amount of repetitions, time, management, structure, schedule that has to be implemented to execute those behaviors and habits within that amount of time. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Someone asked, do I need to find a trainer who specializes in my breed?
all dogs are dogs. You know, there are some breed particulars that are useful to know. You know
those Doberman elites. They're a special type, aren't they?
You know, Doberman's originally bred to guard things, protect things.
Yeah.
So you can tap into that instinct in certain parts of training.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Great Danes, for example, originally bred to hunt boar, hunt bear. So powerful, big. You know, they like to chase things. They got prey drive. They're powerful. Yeah, I already said that. But anyway, you know, so like.
What about a basset hound? What about a wiener dog?
Basset hounds, they like to smell things. Wiener dogs were actually originally bred to like hunt things in the ground, like go into a badger hole, get a badger to come out, so you can blast it, you know.
Yeah.
So you can tap into some of those natural, genetic, instinctual things that are particular to each breed, but you don't need to think about that too much. It's about understanding the dog as a dog. So operant conditioning, classical conditioning, learning theory.
Right.
So bottom line, do I need to find a trainer who specializes in my breed? No.
Right.
You need to find a good, reputable trainer that knows what they're doing. I happen to know one. Canine Revolution Dog Training.
Oh, yeah. I've heard about those guys.
So back to the other question about, what was the other question about?
Is punishing my dog a good thing? I feel like it makes him hate me.
So
Guess it depends what punishing your dog is defined as.
Are you being balanced?
Yeah.
Are you being fair?
Right.
Have you taught your dog your expectation? If you haven't taught your dog your expectation, you start punishing them. They're not necessarily going to hate you. They're going to create a negative association to you, you know. But so that's not good to go. So before you implement any punishment, any accountability, you know, and if we're talking about punishment in scientific terms like we do, punishment means that you're going to make a behavior less likely to occur in the future. It's not about giving a spanking. It's not about, you know, putting their head in the poop, which we never recommend. You know,
Holy cow.
Punishment should be thought about, considered from the scientific point that the whole purpose of punishment is to make a behavior less likely to occur in the future.
Right.
There's different ways you can accomplish that don't require spanking, that don't require yelling. You know, you don't have to do those things. So bottom line, is punishing my dog a good thing? If you do it properly. If you do it properly, your dog will not hate you. You'll be very balanced. Your dog will understand what you're saying. So my recommendation, go through a thorough training process. Follow a good training progression, which we've done a podcast on, the full training progression.
Yep.
Understand that. If you don't understand that, if you don't have time to do that, let a trainer, an experienced trainer, do it for you, and then you can maintain it at home under that trainer coaching you through different difficulties and situations that may arise.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So before any type of accountability is even attempted with your dog, because you may go out to a trainer, they may say, yeah, let's put this e-collar on the dog on day one. Not good to go. Not good to go.
Stop.
You need to implement engagement, relationship building, focus building first. Then you start building up the behaviors through reward. Then once that's accomplished, once the dog understands all that kind of stuff, then you're slowly, systematically going to implement accountability protocol. You know, and if you do that properly, there's no issues.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if you don't do it properly, you do risk that negative association. Not good to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. What we got?
All right. We'll wrap it up with this last question. My dog is not learning what I am telling him. I'm watching your YouTube videos. Thank you for your support.
Good
but
to
my
go.
dog is not learning. I think he's stupid. Holy cow.
First of all, your dog is not stupid.
Yeah.
You know, no dogs are stupid.
Yeah.
What we have to do is consider each dog as the individual that they are. Every dog's an individual.
Yeah.
They have different personalities. They have different characters, you know, character traits and all that. So you say, you know, my dog is not learning what I'm telling him. I'm watching your YouTube videos, but my dog is not learning. Make sure you break down the information. Make sure you're systematically going through a training progression. So go back, review our training progression podcast. This is probably the third or fourth time we mentioned it today.
Yeah.
that progression is super important.
Yeah.
Before you even try to do any training with your dog, my recommendation, get a sheet of paper. Write down your progression from step number 1 to finish for your basic stuff. You know what I'm saying? Which is going to be your obedience, relationship building, a little bit of socialization, and generalization or distraction work. That's the basic stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So step 1, what do you do? Well, you're going to do engagement. Step 2, what do? You're going to do muscle memory for obedience, so on and so forth, you know? So if you're trying to do training, you're getting frustrated, stop what you're doing, go back, create a training plan, step 1 to step whatever, start to finish. Write it down. Study every aspect, and you can go to our YouTube and study every little aspect of the progression. And then once you understand how to do step 1 of your progression, go execute it. You know?
Yeah.
And then once you understand step 2, go execute step 2.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. Take your time. If your dog's maybe learning a little bit slower than you thought, he's a dog.
Yeah.
She's a dog.
Yeah.
You're a human. They understand things differently. They don't speak your language. You know what I'm saying? So take your time. If you get frustrated, take a break. Good to go. Move forward.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Then with those YouTube videos, you know, with the training stuff, it is, you have to rep it out.
You gotta. It's all about repetition.
It ain't the, you know, the 5 minutes that you see the video. That's just showing you how to do it. You got to spend,
It's gonna
you
take
know, hours,
It's gonna take hours,
multiple days, you know,
a lot of time.
you got to
And
make
it's
sure
all-
your dog understands it.
It's all based on your particular dog. So that's that's why a lot of people hire us.
Yeah.
That's why we exist.
Right.
There's so many different variables, particulars that could come into play. You need someone with skill, with experience to be able to assess that scenario, that variable. Roger that. This is happening. Let's go into the process to resolve that, you know?
Yep.
Good to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So no big deal. If you have, for the listener who wrote this question, if you have specific YouTube videos that you need us to make more of to clarify a particular topic or scenario, let us know.
Ask us in the comments on the YouTube video, DM us on Instagram, DM us on Facebook. You know, you can hit me or Chad up personally. You know, it don't matter. You can ask any of the trainers.
If we get a recommendation for something, we try to execute on it as quickly as possible.
Yep.
You know, so we try to break it down to a way. And we didn't used to be good about this. We used to like put too much information, too much talking, not enough showing. You know, we're getting better as time goes on. We're trying to break it down. We're trying to make it simple for you at home to understand what we're trying to communicate, understand what you're seeing, show you what it looks like real time. But you got to go home. You got to do the work. You got to have the patience. You got to have the consistency. You got to
have that bait bag on you.
You got to have your bait bag for sure. You got to have your bait bag. So anyway, let's talk about some current events going on. That's all the questions we're going to get through today. There were a couple more, so we'll do another one of these in the future at some point. But some stuff we got going on. We've done a lot of podcast guests recently. We're very honored to have those people on our podcast. If you enjoy our podcast, especially if you're in the local community and you need some stuff from the people that have been a guest on the podcast, support them. Go support them.
Oh, absolutely.
You know? If you need to buy a house, go to Brad Baker Dealmaker. If you need some coffee, go to One Nation Coffee. If you need a car, go to McElveen. You know, if you need some apparel, you can go to Phantom Outdoors. You can also hit us up. We got some apparel now.
Oh yeah,
you know,
it's live, baby.
It's live. You know, so you can hit both of us up, Phantom and Canine Revolution.
Yep.
Good to go. You know, if you need a vet to come to your house, we've got Dr. Nicole Constantine that, you know, she does the Charleston veterinary house calls. Hit her up.
Yeah.
If you need a chiropractor, you know, hit up Doc Anthony.
Also defense.
Also defense, concealed weapons, you know, permit, training. Go see him.
Yeah.
You know, Cane Bay Chiropractic.
Yep.
If you need a personal trainer, health coach, hit up Heather Black.
Oh, yeah.
Know, just some examples.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
Support them. If you like our podcast, good to go. Some things we got going here at Canine Revolution. We were in the process of building a facility or planning that out, moving into the construction phase. We are now shifting focus. We're trying to build up a good core team. So we have a lot of trainers. You know, we've got Chris, Kevin, Samantha, Lexi. Samantha and Lexi, our apprentices, are almost done with the apprenticeship. then they'll be certified. We got a good amount of training assistants. If I can stop coughing.
What's going on with you?
Let me just get some One Nation
You
coffee in my throat here.
didn't take your Jocko fuel this morning?
I had the Jocko boys. But so we got Lexi and Samantha, apprentices. They're going to be certified soon. We got Emily, Ashley, Emily, Sarah, Keegan, training assistants. You know what I'm saying? So that's our core team. We're trying to build that up, bulk it up before we execute building more space. So that's where we're at right now. It is proven to be a little bit difficult to hire right now. So if someone's wanting to work with some dogs, they're wanting to put in blood, sweat, tears, toil,
Blood oath at the beginning, right?
hard work,
Right.
hit us up. We'll get you on the team once you go through the process. So all that's going on. We got the apparel started up. We're just about to release some tri-blend options. Up to this point, it's been dry fit. I've been getting a lot of recommendations from some people.
Now we're talking.
They want tri-blend.
Right.
So we're going to throw some tri-blend on the options.
Now we're talking.
A little bit cheaper too. So with that being said,
Also, we sell hats too.
a lot of hats. We got this nice one right here.
We sell hats.
I like this one, the Digicam.
I'm wearing one.
It's
It's
the
just an
Canine
all black
Revolution.
with the logo
Yep.
on the front.
I like the Digicam.
Not just hats. That's all not just shirts. I'm
Not
sorry.
just shirts. Got some
We
tank
got
tops.
hats. We got tanks. We
We got some more stuff coming out.
Absolutely.
So anyway,
Oh yeah, we
Oh,
got some good ideas.
if you want to support the podcast, if you enjoy the podcast, hit up the apparel. That's going to be supporting podcast and all that kind of stuff. So
leave us that review.
leave us a review. Good to go. And then if you guys have any questions, if you have any podcast topics that you want us to cover, let us know. We appreciate all feedback, any and all feedback. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate the listener. If you guys have any feedback, let us know. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Out.